Grand Risings. Today is Thursday, January 20th, and this is your Shekinah Wisdom Podcast. Today, my lovelies, I'm here to remind you that your knowledge of self journey is not going to be perfect. There's not going to be a time when you're like, oh, everything's done. I totally perfected myself, and that's it. Like I always share with you, your job is to be a better person today than yesterday and a better person tomorrow than today. That is the evolution process. If you're single, you might be wondering, when is my partner coming along? When am I going to get help with what I have going on? And if you're in a relationship, you may be thinking, when is my partner going to pull a weight? When are they going to step up? What if I told you that it is your job to do whatever you feel is lacking in your life? People in your life cannot fill in all of the blanks of your life. Some of the blanks you have to fill in yourself. And part of filling in those blanks is letting go of codependent relationships. In the past, I got myself caught up in codependent relationships because they reflected my own insecurities, right? So if I was missing something, I had someone external that made up for what I was missing that I personally should have had. Not things that we need assistance with one another for, but things on the personal nature, like when you need a constant need of company, right? And when I was in that phase of always needing a friend, always needing company, always needing to tag along, it was because I wasn't happy with me. I didn't like being by myself, like literally. I did not like being alone. Then one day, because I'm a type of person, I'm a misery hates company person. So I had to be thrusted into misery in order for me to see how great my company was. And it wasn't until then that I started attracting different people in my life. When I was not liking myself totally, I was attracting people that didn't like me totally. But when I started to embrace me and truly love me, then people that embrace me and truly love me started to show up. And as with everything that I tell you, you don't have to take my word for it. In the words of LeVar Burton, you could put it to practice yourself. Life is like a litmus test, right? For you to test out the different theories and different things that you have been told. Because we have gone through a lot of programming in this life. Everything is a program. Look around. Television program, children's programming, adult programming. Everything's a program. And when you remove all of those extra programs, what do you get? And that's what I discovered when I finally got by myself. And even though it was a miserable circumstance that brought me there, but what emerged from those circumstances was a butterfly. I was in my caterpillar experience when I was going through all of that. And I had to emerge into a butterfly. And emerging into a butterfly requires change. And change was something that I wasn't comfortable with. Especially if it was change that I didn't initiate myself. I had to be in charge of the change. But the one thing that made me look at things differently was nature. Realizing with nature, you're not in charge of those changes. Like, I even remember back when I was a little girl and when I started developing and going through puberty, I wasn't in charge of those changes. Like, one day, things just started changing. And I guess the same thing happens with males. And if you look at the seasons and other things, you see how nature responds to those changes. They don't resist the change. They go with the flow of the change. As should we. So, my lovelies, I want you to think about today areas in your life where you were resistant to change. And once the change took place, I want you to reflect on the outcome. And then I want you to think about your initial resistance. Should you have been resistant? Some changes, yes. Your intuition will let you know that if certain changes are unsavory. But some changes are just different. It just takes you getting used to and adapting to. Like me changing from being in a toxic environment into an environment of my own choosing, into an environment of my own creation. See, in that toxic environment, I didn't have control over that environment. That was that environment that I happened to be thrust into. But now that I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions, my environment is of my choosing. And that's why my peace is so important. And that's why people nowadays have to compete with my peace in order for me to feel motivated in doing certain things. And what I find peace is different from everybody else. Of course, everybody's peace is going to have a slight variation. We're all individuals. So, my lovelies, today, I want you to think about the things that bring you peace, especially when you're going through changes, because those are the things that will bring you solace as you go through those changes. I want you to reflect on a time that you resisted change and it was the most beneficial. And allow that to ease your fears as you are making new changes in your life. All right, my lovelies, if you need support on your healing journey, you can head over to shekinahwisdom.com where you can book an appointment. If you want our therapy, you can head over to iamucollection.com. And if you simply want to support the work we do here, you can Cashapp Unearthing the Truth. Okay, my lovelies, you have a wonderful, thought-provoking Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow on our Flowers on Friday.